Tony Zarella, Cleveland 19 News. Dan, Terry touched upon the social media recent activity and the fact that Kyrie's camp has not denied this. Do you believe that Kyrie and LeBron could coexist at this point?
Well, they have. Yeah. They really have. I think a lot of it's been overblown. I think the people that are in this building every day haven't seen any of that animosity. This is, and along with Kevin Love, this is a group that has got us to 3 straight finals and won an NBA championship together. They play great together on the floor, and a lot of that I do think is overblown, and we haven't seen a lot of this animosity that's sort of been out there in the media.
Yeah, I think you also have to look at history sometimes. You know, I mean, you look at the other Kobe, not this Kobe, Kobe Bryant. I think there was a time where he was calling radio stations and saying he was going to demand to be traded, and I think won 2 or 3 championships after that point. I mean, you know, things happen, and you never know. I'm not saying that happens here, but there's, you know, the possibilities of what will happen are wide, and it's not just one path or one track.
Dan, Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. How would you characterize your involvement in the basketball-related decisions with the franchise this offseason, in the past, free agency trades, and the like?
Characterize it as compared to, like?
How you would characterize it compared to what you've seen from maybe other owners? And
you know, it's hard to know what goes on in the other 29 franchises. That's a good question. It's hard, you know, I never really thought of it in that sense. You know, these guys, you hire experts, you hire guys who do this for a living, do it 24/7, and you know, I like to be close to all of our businesses. I like to talk to people, I like to challenge them, I like to ask questions, but ultimately we like to give them we pay. Let's put it this way: we're paying Kobe for the value of his judgment, and if we don't let him judge, then we might as well not pay him. So at the end of the day, that's what happens, and. You know, will I give input and give my sure, just like anybody in the room? But I really encourage these guys and make sure. We even had this discussion not too long ago with all of us, all 5 or 6 of us. I said, you guys, it doesn't matter if I'm the owner. It just doesn't matter. I mean, if we're paying you for the value of judgment. You have to, if you feel strongly about something, whether it's me or if it's Kobe or anybody, you want to encourage debate. You want to encourage people to stand up for the what, not the who. I mean, the who shouldn't matter here, and ultimately, the general manager makes the decisions. Otherwise, and if you try to, you know, there have been situations in the past, and I won't give it years ago, that, you know, draft pick here or there, and the general manager made their decision, and you know, you can look back in history and say, well, I have the luxury of, well, I wish we went this way or this way, but you have to give them credit for standing up, making the decision, and once you start to try to overrule them in a draft room or somewhere else, I think it's over. You know, you can't do that. But that doesn't mean you can't give your opinion, you can't weigh in, and you can't challenge and ask questions. And that's sort of what I do with most of our business. The guys that are running it, I'll try to get them to think a certain way, challenge them. Have you looked at every possible thing you can, 360, but they've got to make the decision.
And Chris, I'll say this, Chris. I think Dan's been keenly aware of us and appreciative of our success and what goes on here. We've had great open lines of communication during this transition process, but it's a process that's been going on for years. Again, I've been here 5 years, and me and Dan have had a great relationship the time I've been here. That's only going to grow. But again, I think he understands the value of the guys we mentioned before and us. And yeah, he pushes us, but we're process driven. We want it to be challenged, and we want to know why we're going to make this decision. But he's a large part of what we do, and the wherewithal he gives us and the resources he gives us to be successful is incredible. And so it's a partnership.
Jeff Shudell, News Herald. You're both making it sound like things aren't as bad as it's been made out to be for this last week. But Dan, especially to you, what can you do to make it so Irving and James can be on this team next year and lead them to one of the championships you're talking about?
Well, again, I think that kind of depth and tactical implementation of a certain strategy. I don't mean to sound like a University of Michigan business school guy, because I went to Michigan State, but you know, that's probably, you know, that's at the level of Kobe, and he's living this full time and doing this full time. So you know, if that's the if that's his first, if that's Koby's first option, first choice, he thinks that's the best way forward for this franchise. You know, he'll figure out a way to hopefully make that happen. But I think that from an owner standpoint, for me to, I don't think that's probably the right way. I'm not going to, hey, you two guys, let's do this, let's do that, let's not do that. So Koby,
Yeah, and again, I talked about it in my intro. That's the narrative. That's not the truth. Again, we've had people here that have played a large role in the success of this organization that are still here and know how to do it and know how to do it well. And so, you know, whatever the outside narrative is, that's fine. We know the truth, and the people that are in this building know the truth. The coaching staff, the guys, the performance staff that are around our guys every day. We know our job is to be about the players and help them be successful in any way, add pieces here and there that will help our cause, and that's our drive. Our drive is to get better. We didn't complete our goal last year, and so that drives us. And we're going to maintain a great level of success here, and that's never going to change.
Anthony Lima, 92.3 The Fan. Koby, right over here. You hear about long-term visions for the elite organizations around the NBA, but there is this uncertainty that is out there regarding your number one guy in LeBron James. How has that impacted the job that you do in team building in the long term? And with this ascension for you and the promotion, how much will the philosophies evolve or change from the previous organization?
It never changes in terms of the goals that Dan sets forth for us, and that's to compete for championships. To your first question about LeBron, LeBron remains deeply committed to this organization. He remains deeply committed to this team and deeply committed to this city. He has deep roots to this city, and it means a lot for him to be here and compete for championships for years to come. That's his goal, and so we have shared goals. We have shared vision. When you talk to him in the offseason, it's always about how do we get better? How do we improve? Because the goal is singular. It's focused in trying to win championships. And so we're committed to him. But from an organizational standpoint, that's our goal, and that's our task. And so it doesn't really change my mindset in terms of me getting this position. I know what we're tasked to do.
and LeBron's been helpful this offseason. He's been helpful with our players and our recruitment, and he's you know.
He's a magnet.
We have communication
Yeah.
with him often, and yes, it's just kind of crazy when you're reading a bunch of stuff and you're living it, and it doesn't sort of jive together. So, you know.
David Quinn, ESPN. Dan and Koby, how would you, if you could go back and give us like a summation of what happened with the talks with Indiana for Paul George and what fell through there?
That's been well publicized. I don't want to talk about that. What's interesting is, you know, over the course of the NBA draft, there's 60 picks. In the first round, it's 5 minutes between picks. I probably made 200 phone calls that night, and none of that gets publicized. We're actively trying to get better and discover new ideas and talk to different teams and see what could be available and see what opportunities are out there. It's the ones that sort of don't make it to the media, the ones that you're more crushed about. And so we're very active during that time, and we're also aggressive in trying to figure out how can we get better for this organization. And so I'm not going to talk about that specific trade, but know that we were active during that time, and every team in the NBA was active during that time to try to help their respective franchises.
I will say that Indiana could have done better than they did.
And just
That's
a quick
for
follow-up for you, Dan, off Fedor's question. Not comparing you versus the other owners in the league now, but comparing yourself to other times when you owned this team. Have you been more active in the last month in terms of the decisions and you know?
Not in terms of decision. Yeah, I've had to be more active in terms of figuring out what we're going to do here and you know, who's going to be our next general manager, and spending the time with all of our guys to get up to speed and stuff, and then interviewing and talking to many candidates besides Koby, which I did. And you know, I just felt Koby's the best candidate. He's the best candidate of the people we talk to and I talk to. From that sense, and getting up to speed on the processes and the protocols around here and how they're doing things, and just so I have that knowledge if I'm talking to people about this position. But lucky for us, we're able to keep Koby here for long term. And what he was just talking about, if I could just say something else, I can't tell you how important it is to have these kinds of relationships around the league. What's a little bit surprising, even for me, I've been doing this 12 years now, I guess, but as an owner, is that how many deals in the league actually get done because of there's relationships between the front office of our franchise and another one. Because sometimes there'll be a trade or something that happens, and we'll say, did we even get an at-bat? Did we get an at-bat to it? Did we talk to them? It's not like a team who's about to make a deal with one team says, well, let me go onto some kind of auction site and see if there's other NBA teams who could give me a better deal. It's a lot of this is relationship driven, and what we have here is one of the best relationship guys in the league, and I think you can feel that and see that, and I think you will see much of that.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. I understand that we don't know the whole story and all that, but when the commissioner says in the last couple of days that he feels bad for what's going on in Cleveland, and where there's smoke, there might be fire. I mean, have you talked to him, reassured? I don't know, either one of you. I mean, it does kind of send an alarming message to fans.
I have that on my list, my to-do list, actually, to talk to him about that. Yeah, which I will, because he was just being empathetic and from stuff that he's reading, but it's. I agree, it's a little bit unusual, but he's a great commissioner, by the way. I think he's doing an unbelievable job. I mean, killing it, like an A+. Print that too. Okay. Thank you. Please.
Dan, what do you see for LeBron's future here beyond this season?
What do I see for his future here beyond this? Well, again, as I was saying earlier, I think in response to Terry's question, we do not control all the cards that we get dealt. A player who goes into any player, LeBron or otherwise, goes to unrestricted free agency, if the team wants them, then it becomes their decision, right? Not our decision. And so, as Koby, though, said, LeBron has been as helpful as he's ever been. He's been active. He helped with Derrick Rose, and that's why Derrick Rose is being signed here, or has signed here. And he's been active. He's been responsive, and I really do. I think something, there's almost something that happens. You win a championship, and the next season, there's just, I think, always a natural. I mean, again, it's not like I know more than the 1 year here, right? But there's sort of this natural. Well, are you as hungry as the whole franchise? Are you as hungry as you were, especially just after 52 years? And I think when you lost it like we did, and we were closer than people, I think, give us a little credit for. If we didn't give away Game 3 at the end, it'd be a whole different series. It would probably won 6 or 7. So, although we lost it in 5, I think that it seems to me, and I'm just like as a fan or you looking, LeBron looks like he lost now. That hunger is as strong as you saw him the next day. He's working out in the gym. I mean, I think he is very hungry for this season. But again, I think he'll tell you that too. And I think that beyond the season, I don't know. We're focused on this season.
He's the best player on the planet, and he's been an incredible partner, especially during this offseason. We're very, very fortunate to have him, and we're excited about this season coming up. And we know our goals are aligned, and that's to win a championship.
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. Dan, I know we've beaten this to death already today, but just one last time, do you expect Kyrie to be in training camp this year when the team reports? Do you expect him to be on this team?
Yeah. Right now, Kyrie Irving's under contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers for 2 or 3 years, depending on last year. So as of now, he's one of our best players, and sure, we expect him to be in camp.
Sam Amico, Fox Sports Ohio. Koby, could you talk a little bit about how the Derrick Rose signing came about and what he's going to add to what you foresee him adding to the team?
So it was an opportunity that came to us recently, and it was brought about by Derrick. He wanted to be in a place where he can play with excellent players and a place where he can play in meaningful games. It's funny, he uses the term, I just want to hoop. And he just wants to be here, and he's excited to be here. He's in a great space mentally, and his body looks great, and we're really excited about him. But he came here for the opportunity to win. He came here for the opportunity to play with other great players, and so, yeah, we're excited about him very much.
And, I just want to say one thing, and you know this is just a fact, but I was surprised to see that Derrick Rose is only 28 years old. I mean, it seems like he's been in the league forever, but he is still only 28 years old.
And, you know, we signed him on my first official day on the job, so that's not a bad start, right? To sign a former MVP on your first day on the job, it's not bad.
See, I told you.
Koby, when you look at your roster and just where you are now, I mean, what we're hearing is it compete for a title, get back there, and win it this time. What do you need to do with this roster in terms of type of players to get better?
Well, it's interesting. We've had an active offseason that I wish some of you would talk more about in terms of what we've done. We've done the most since I've been here. We re-signed Kyle Korver, who we traded a first-round pick for, so it was good because we preserved the asset. So we kept Kyle Korver for 3 more years. We signed Jeff Green, who's going to be a great rotational piece, who's going to back up LeBron and be a multifaceted forward that can guard on the perimeter in the paint. You know, we signed Derrick Rose, who will be a great sort of off-the-bench backup point guard. He started his whole career, and so he's ready for that role as well. We signed Jose Calderon, who's a veteran and a cultural piece and knows how to play, a basketball IQ guy. And then we brought our young kid, Koby Altman, over from Turkey, who represents a lot of our youth, and we're excited about him into the future. We've done a lot of things to not only stay competitive, but incremental steps to get better. And it's been an active off-season with, like I said, one goal in mind. And we think we've gotten better. We think we're more talented. And to Dan's point, we're certainly more hungry.
I guess just in terms of like the type of players, I mean, obviously you don't want to say, well, I'm done, it's finished. What type of players would you like to add to this?
Well, we have. We've added, or we've kept one of the best shooters of all time. We're adding a youthful rookie. We're adding basketball IQ. We're adding multifaceted defenders to go with a core group that has been excellent for us and has helped us get to 3 straight finals. And so we felt we've gotten a lot better this offseason, and we still want to push forward. We want to evolve, we want to grow, and we want to keep pushing the envelope.
2017 Cavs Academy summer camps are set to tip off. Improve your game and develop your basketball skills with the official Cavaliers Youth Basketball Development Coaching Team. Week-long Cavs camps are located throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania for boys and girls ages 5 to 14 of all skill levels. All athletes will receive expert instruction, individual player evaluations, and a Cavs Academy uniform and basketball. Campers will have the chance to showcase their abilities at the end of camp skills competition. Register today at Cavs.com/Cavs Academy.